next to the brain, you can't see it, is the pia. It's very, very thin. It's the little mother, pia mater. Dura is the tough mother, dura mater. And notice that the dura is continuous with that in the spinal cord. It also goes up and follows the optic nerve because remember, the retina is an outpocketing from the optic vesicles in the diencephalon. And there's a picture of that in your PowerPoint. This is the superior sagittal sinus. And you can see there's dark blood in there. We can see, well, not very well, the dura is supposed to go here between the cerebellum and the cerebrum. And what's going on here? So there's more of the dural sinuses there. Here we are. This is not tucking under the way it should be because it's been out. But there is usually, and you can see this sticking in there. We'll show it on the other. Oh, geez, that's, oh, we don't have that in the other brain. Good. Okay, what we have here, a little bit more on this side, is a dural fold that goes between the cerebellum and the cerebrum. And it's like a tent over the cerebellum. We call it the tentorium cerebelli. Between the two hemispheres of the cerebellum, there is a dural fold, right here. That is the falx cerebelli. The dural fold between the, coming down in here, between the two hemispheres is the falx cerebri. At the top of it is the superior sagittal sinus. At the bottom, as we can see in that picture, is the inferior sagittal sinus. And then they go together here, they join with the transverse sinuses and come down and go down in that way to drain. So, dura, superior sagittal sinus, this is the one that the arachnoid villi come into. There's at the bottom of this fold, which we can't see very well here, we go to the bottom of this in here, there is the inferior sagittal sinus. And here we see that dural fold that's part of the tentorium cerebelli, the tent over the cerebellum. And here is the falx cerebelli, the fold between the two cerebellar hemispheres. The sinus that runs here it is right there, is the transverse sinus. Now, so there's our dura, and the dura is usually in the brain, is usually flat up against the skull. The periosteum of the skull and the dura are right next to each other. And these folds, we end up having, this top part is periosteal dura, and then the part going down into the hole is the cranial dura, because you have to make that fold there. But we do cover over the top. When it folds down in, but there's a covering at the top too. So that's our dural venous sinus. Now, when we go to the spinal cord, there's also dura. There's arachnoid. Right up next to it is going to be pia. In the spinal cord, there are some pial specializations, which I don't know if we're going to be able to see here. See how that kind of, it sticks together right there? Right here. It doesn't pull away. That's kind of hard to see, but the reason that's happening is that every once in a while, as you're going down the spinal cord, the pia jumps out and attaches to the dura. It just goes through the subarachnoid, goes through the arachnoid area, and attaches to the dura, like right here. The pia is really thin, so it's kind of hard for us to see that. But see, it's attached here, it's attached there, it's attached there. If I pull it, it doesn't want to let go. Those are the denticulate ligaments. They are pial specializations. They attach the spinal cord, well, the pia. They attach things to kind of keep the spinal cord hanging in the meninges. At the end of the spinal cord, we still have dura here, and look, here's the cauda equina, but there's still lots of dura here. Even though the spinal cord is ended, we still have this dural covering, and this would be the space into which you would do, well, we do it further down here, but a lumbar tap. We're looking here at the very end of the spinal cord. And remember, the spinal cord ends at about L1, L2, and it just basically comes to a point, the conus medullaris. On either side of that, there's still pia. When the spinal cord ends, the pia from one side touches the pia from the other side and makes this long string, the filum terminalis, which will attach to the coccyx. The dura also will, you can't see it here, but it will go together on the outside, and it forms what we call the coccygeal ligament. So there's our conus medullaris. We can do our lumbar tap in this region. They're gonna, when you go in and if you, squirt a little bit, they'll move out of the way, so we can do our lumbar tap. Another place we can do a lumbar tap is the cerebellar cistern, which is right in this region. You come up here and sample there. So that's our dura, arachnoid, and pia. There are lots of other things to look at on this brain.